И ран начинается через 2, одну. Собственно, в чем завязка игры? В последней игре, если правильно помню, называется World, противники Крэша, смерть. Забавно. Мне кажется, что... Я спешу на 5 секунд. Мне кажется, ранее нас послушал. Кстати, да, если за время, пока мы здесь развлекаемся с голосованием, за это время он умрет 3 раза, я отменю ставку. Очевидно. Так вот, по поводу самой игры. Нашим основным способом передвижения является 2 момента. Это слайд и спин. Как вы можете заметить, когда это происходит, во-первых, мы двигаемся немного быстрее, а во-вторых, это позволяет себя лучше контролировать в воздухе. Также в будущем, когда мы доберемся до масок, они тоже смерть. Что-то мне не нравится. Раннер решил марафон лакать, потому что в его ВРе он умер как раз 3 раза. И меня это уже напрягает. Что-то я, по-моему, реально подошли.
I've actually never seen that animation before. That was actually kind of interesting.
So about the masks in this game, if you guys don't know about this yet, or if you haven't played this game yet, most of the masks in this game in the normal pathway, unlike time trials, most of them are like troll-like places.
Будет третья смерть, я закрою ставку. У него есть еще 5 минут, чтобы умереть еще 1 раз. Соответственно, вообще, по идее, мы должны как бы собирать ящики, там, собирать кассеты и прочее, но у нас не перцент. Поэтому мы это, очевидно, все пропустим, а также все бонусные уровни. Не считая гличей, которые я объясню потом отдельно, основной спидран зависит от того, насколько правильно вы двигаетесь и насколько, собственно, хорошо вы используете срезы, предоставленные игрой.
And as you see here, so this is another addition to the Crash series, ropes here. Not one of my favorite overall, but it's definitely an interesting addition to the series. You could be seeing a lot of ropes also, along with the grind rail sections as you saw in Rude Awakening.
Соответственно, пока что наши полномочия входят только просто пробежать через уровни. Ничего особо интересного пока что нет. Потому что основные, не все, а основные гличи связаны именно с масками, которые мы получим чуть позже. Ну, шарф, я предполагал, что все будет получше. Ну и 10 это многовато на самом деле. Можно было поставить 8. Ну и, конечно же, нам необходимо не то чтобы прям совсем манипулировать циклами, но уметь в них попадать, чтобы различные окружения, которые тоже являются динамическим, там, как, например, в самом начале эти круги катающиеся, не убивали нас. Единственное, о чем я жалею, то что раннер играет на Крэше, а не на Коко, но это его выбор. Собственно, мы получаем нашу первую маску. Если я правильно помню, а я, по-моему, неправильно помню, как она называется, по-моему, Лани Лоли, но это не точно. Сейчас специально даже уточню. В общем, это, да, все-таки Лани Лоли. По-моему, третий раз помер, великолепно. Ну, получается, закрываю. The mask right here that uses the phase in and phase out mechanic is called Lani Loli. Я был не готов к такому. Удалить и вернуть баллы. Пусть модеры придумают что-нибудь новое, поинтереснее. А у меня здесь игра. Собственно, эта маска позволяет переключаться нам между двумя мирами. Что необходимо для решения некоторых пазлов, а также для прохождения на 100%. Если мы хотим собрать там все ящики, все фрукты Умпа.
Alright, so yeah, so here is the aforementioned grind section. So this is actually a perfect time for donations if we have any.
We've got a lot of donations here, including a $75 from Unileska, who says, had to donate during Crash Bandicoot, one of my favorite games. Let's see that Hitman 3 run, which, speaking of our bonus game for Hitman 3, we're at 55,000.
Там остается 15 тысяч до Hitman 3. Я думаю, соберут. Почему нет?
There time for another?
Yeah, you got another second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Нет, на VR уже точно никак. По сути, из того, что я видел, VR сейчас можно улучшить примерно на 1,5 минуты. Так что... А есть у нас уже 4 смерти. Ну, на самом деле, кстати, это довольно такая лайтовая маска с точки зрения... Ну, это мое предположение, исходя из того, что сейчас происходит в VR-ране. То есть там, по-моему, как раз 3 смерти. И есть не везде first try скипов. Но, опять-таки, кто его знает. Так вот, это такая самая лайтовая маска. С ней, в принципе, она не влияет ни на какое количество скипов, по сути, потому что, ну, она только открывает какие-то другие пути прохождения, на самом деле, не другие, как бы, а просто пазлы. А вот остальные 3 маски, вот они будут повеселее, особенно которые замедляют время, потому что я сколько не пытался, даже сидя на стримах у Джорди, я не смог понять, почему она ускоряет персонажа. То есть это как-то работает код игры, очень интересно, мы потом увидим, что она позволяет не то что даже ускорять, а телепортировать на короткое расстояние персонажа.
Actually, they're called Chop Shop.
Yeah, in the game they're called Chop Shop, but apparently they have names, so hey, you know, just a little bit of lore tidbits for you.
Но, по сути, как, по крайней мере, говорил на своих ранах Джорди, если вы хотите начать ранить Крэша, помимо того, что необходимо понимать, как в него правильно играть и заучить рауты, в первую очередь вам необходимо научиться правильно двигаться.
Has you mostly skipping all of the verticality and climbing pretty much for the rest of the level, and it actually involves one particular checkpoint where it just makes you skip 80% of the level.
It's pretty big, yeah. So
yeah.
We'll see if Jordy
Мы переходим к следующему уровню. Фидраут. Если я правильно помню, здесь мы должны увидеть первый такой очень качественный скип. Но опять-таки, если я правильно помню название локаций. Потому что, к сожалению, самостоятельно поиграть в Крэша ни в ремейк Insane Trilogy, ни в 4-го я сейчас не имею возможности. Почему уже довольно давно. Так, в этом месте мы при помощи ящика чекпоинта отталкиваемся немного влево, там, где мы находим невидимую платформу. Потом при помощи дэша влево.
Yep.
Спрыгиваем в АОБ.
Very nice. So,
И потом надо
this
из него лишь
skip,
выбраться.
to go into further explanation, for the
В этом
longest
месте
time,
у нас
it was
не
known as the
прогружаются
forbidden
текстуры,
section.
пока мы дойдем до чекпоинта
That
некоторые,
last section of the jump that,
но при этом не
is
прогружаются
now
никакие
is
опасности,
actually a
кроме
quote-unquote
ям,
that,
которые
was
именно
discovered
вот
later
совсем
on,
ямы.
because initially the original way to do that
Как вы можете
was to
заметить,
do a long
Крэш просто
jump
бежит через колючую
onto
проволоку,
where the truck is
через
sitting,
замедляющие
and then just
лужи,
starts
и
spinning from there.
ничего не происходит.
But, that
Единственная
backup
проблема —
design
это,
makes
собственно,
that
яма,
skip
в
a
которую
lot
можно
more
упасть.
consistent, so that's really nice. And now we have a classic truck chase scene, so not much activity to be going on.
На самом деле в
so we
игре
have, time for
довольно много
some
таких
donations.
автоскроллеров, что не очень приятно влияет на спидран, но что поделать. Соответственно, вторая часть этой погони — это бегство в клетке.
The real Crash 4.
The Atlas Sphere. This is definitely like a throwback to that. Except like also the masks that Abdul talked about earlier, the 4 quantum masks, is probably also a callback to the 4.
Но учитывая, что нам нет необходимости собирать все ящики, это не представляет никакой сложности.
Take like 1 second of silence for talk since it's deleted, you know.
Silence, right. Okay, there's our silence.
I mean, when it comes to this game, I feel like the whole multiverse concept is meant to kind of keep the older games.
Первый босс.
Especially when it
В
comes
нем
to
тоже
some
есть
of the
engine,
and some characters
известный
that have
всем
actually
босс
been used,
из игры. В нем есть тоже
what's his name?
довольно забавный баг.
Surprisingly part of the story.
Обычно нам необходимо сначала...
Alright, so right now we have stage
Обычно же необходимо сначала, назовем так, сбить армор, потом подойти и ударить, и так повторять. Но если мы одновременно сделаем подкат, а потом спин, то есть, иначе говоря, как будто бы проведем две атаки одновременно, босс решит, что он постоянно в этой форме, в которой по нему можно бить, и нам не будет необходимости сбивать этот щит, такой импровизированный. Единственное, что это нужно делать каждый раз, иначе сломается. При этом нужно делать подкат со спином не так, как мы делаем во время передвижения, а выдержать небольшой дилей в несколько кадров. Кстати говоря, если в этом месте умереть во время босс-файта, то можно стоп-стопнуть игру. Теоретически. Что, собственно, и говорит один из сокастеров Джорди, что он там пару раз поплохал игру. Переходим в следующий мир. В нем мы должны познакомиться с новым персонажем, если я правильно помню. Это женская версия, как я ее примерно называю, женская версия Крэша. Ну, в принципе, по-моему, так и есть. Стоп, не женская версия Крэша, как ее? Его девушка, Тавна. Вот. Я немножко перепутал. Все-таки она выглядит намного по-другому, как из оригинальных игр. Собственно, пришел донат, почему он не играет за Коко. Я тоже этим очень расстроен. У него более красивые анимации, и в целом она милая. Так, кстати, продолжаем блок Фури, который, я не уверен, начали ли мы шарфик или начали раньше. Нет, там был геогессер, поэтому точно начали шарфик на блок Фури.
Yes, thank you, Vico.
And thank you for the work he does. He really puts in the work for the community, and that's great. And for why not playing as Coco?
Как вы можете заметить, иногда Крэш вроде как кажется на воде, но из-за того, что он находится в движении слайде, при этом крутится, то есть в спине, он не получает урон, то есть он не умирает, а двигается вперед. Но выглядит это так, будто он сейчас собственно,
Yeah, so not much else, in this
помрет.
level. It's just,
Также в этой
a
игре
lot of
есть
hole skipping.
небольшие
Yeah,
I must say the
проблемы
CPS is a lot
с
nicer.
кадрами в секунду. Не с точки
Yeah,
того,
good
что
thing
плохо
we,
оптимизировано,
got that, situated.
а если
I
менять
was losing the plot, then I
ограничение
realized it
FPS
was 30.
на
Actually,
30,
since you're in EU, how about you put it
там
down
будут
to
происходить
25?
очень веселые вещи. Мы как раз таки с маской, которая
But,
замедляет
in terms
время.
of this game, there's a lot of precision,
Но это увидим и в
especially in
будущем.
levels like this one.
Собственно,
Next level is
мы
gonna be
открываем
obviously, a new
нового
character,
персонажа, Тавну.
playing in the form of
Это для
version
PS4.
of Tana. So,
Но в целом
in
есть на ПК.
gameplay, if anyone has played to Insanity, Crash to Insanity for that matter, you'll realize that her gameplay is kind of
Кстати говоря, если я правильно помню,
in this
это
case, and as you
единственный
can see,
резвор
Jordy's right now doing a checkpoint skip, which he literally
во
just
всей
got
игре,
his first try with his hook shot.
Very impressive.
Yeah,
That
that's
is a-
really nice.
чтобы пропустить
That is a very
чекпоинт.
notoriously difficult thing to do. Like one of the very few skips that are just
Естественно,
very,
геймплей
very
за
hard.
Тавну, а также за Дингадайля, которого мы потом увидим чуть позже, и Неокортекса,
99% precision with your hook shot.
ну,
It's a
довольно
very,
сильно
uh,
отличается от геймплея за Крэша.
I was gonna say, if you fail that, then the camera doesn't
Маска,
align the same
замедляющая
way on
время.
polling respawn
Мне кажется, у
as well. So it
кого-то
makes that hook even harder to
немножечко
get
извращенный
on
разум.
respawn. At least for me.
Yeah.
Right, so you kind of want to pull it off on your very first
Естественно,
try
Тавна
the
в
moment
своих
you
приключениях пользуется крюком-кошкой и специальными панелями, которые помогают ей отталкиваться от стены или просто прыгать. У Дингадайля есть такой клевый пылесос, а у Неокортекса бластер. Все это используется для решения, ну, загадок пазлов и для прохождения по уровню за каждого из этих персонажей.
It can be interesting at times. Hopefully we don't get to see much of it this run, but yeah.
Yeah, aside from that, you know, just general diagonal skips here and there, and also a little animation skip before you start a rail grind with Tana specifically, is that you can jump just before you approach a rail grind.
Естественно, после прохождения основного уровня за дополнительных персонажей у нас открываются дополнительные уровни для дополнительных персонажей.
Right, and,
Но нас
you'll
они
be
не
seeing that
интересуют.
character much later in the run. So that'll be it for Tana. And up next we have a really notorious level for run killing, which is Jetboard Jetty.
Как сказала Джорди, он
Any
ненавидит
thoughts
следующий
on
уровень.
Jetboard Jetty here, Jordy?
I hate it.
This level will be difficult.
И если я правильно понимаю, что это за уровень, то в принципе в этом есть смысл. Ну, не просто пройти игру быстрее всех. Ну да. Категория Any Person. То есть добраться до титров. В этом уровне у нас появляются лодки. И с одной из таких лодок в этом мире, не помню, в этой локации, будет связан скип целого босса.
Discovering time trials in this game and just seeing what works best for you in your own playstyle. This level alone took me like 1/4 of a day just to pull off and try something on my own. So,
Этот уровень,
this level,
к сожалению, очень-очень сильно зависит от циклов, то есть вам необходимо было бы каждый раз заново. А на самом деле проходить на 100% Крэша — это очень муторная вещь. Честно, я не помню, какой там VR, но подразумеваю, что где-то около минут, наверное, часов, наверное, 6. Там очень много всего нужно сделать.
Turtle time is very normal in Crash games, but not to this degree. Like Crash 4 has like a massive amount of it. Like you saw Jordy just slide spin over that entire gap. That would not be possible in any other Crash game unless you had some tech in it. It's just some of the game's mechanics are based around that, and it's really cool to see because you have a lot of like freedom in air after.
10 часов. Спасибо, Шарф.
You don't instantly die.
Ну вот, как я и сказал, что в районе. Здесь мы будем пользоваться такой вещью, как манипуляция игрой очередной раз, при помощи быстрого выхода в меню во время анимации смерти мы заставим подумать, что мы мертвы, но на самом деле мы не мертвы. Это, кстати, не является дезворпом. И это позволяет нам просто передвигаться по воде, а также не зацепить за триггер и не
we're actually kind of glad we're not going to be able to see the fight at all.
Не стригись, здесь босс-файт.
Slide spin across the water, and this boss fight is notoriously known for being like.
Кстати говоря,
both in the speedrun and
если
casual,
в
it's
момент
a fun
вот этой
boss
псевдосмерти
fight. It's,
воспользоваться бодислейвом, то
it
есть
has a bit of
прыгнуть
jank to
и
it, and it's
ударить
just-
телом
we actually had,
о
like,
пол,
there was a
то
beyond
ты
fight
выходишь из
with
этого
this
состояния,
for
и,
about,
находясь на воде, ты
4 or 5
помираешь
months
все-таки.
before it was found, I think. So someone
Не
got
богоюзеры, а
themselves
спидранеры.
$300 for finding that skip.
Oh my lord. When you hate a boss so much that it doesn't even exist in the time trial.
Итак,
Just,
нам
you know what, forget it, no
представляют
boss fight.
новую
Why would
маску,
they even do that? Like, it's like, you could have just, you know,
которая называется
or
Акана.
just put some planks or like a bridge.
Она позволяет
The
нам
Jaguar is just literally
немного
useless.
летать, когда мы находимся в состоянии спина, но при этом управлять этим спином будет довольно легко. С ней связана тоже парочка интересных скипов. Согласен, Шаф.
Really cool stuff you can do with it. Not on PC actually, and there was like an infinite jump that was glitched. That's really cool. But it is a really cool mask, and every momentum that you bring into Akano gets carried with you. So if you do a slide spin jump, which like has a fast momentum, then you get more speed in Akano.
Yeah, so the only setback with Akano is that he's very slippery.
Соответственно, когда вы используете эту маску, у вас очень большая инерция. Опа, смерть. У вас очень большая инерция, и даже если вы не нажимаете на стике инерция. Ох, чатик, вам бы только об одном думать. Даже если вы не выбираете направление на своем геймпаде, вам все равно придется двигаться туда, куда вы двигались в последний раз.
Right,
Yeah, I
so
was trying
just
to go for a cycle skip there. It did not go to plan, but I was looking to
catching
land on
that.
the yellow plant and then jump around.
Yeah.
I just didn't make it.
So,
Moment
just to
of
plug in
erection.
this little notion about Akano and the infinite spin.
Если я правильно помню,
There's
таз-блока
a little
нету.
trick called- There's a little trick with Akano that you can do with the game-given ability with the triple spin, where
Есть?
the
Ну,
triple spin
я
momentum can
плохо
be
помню, на самом
carried
деле.
over with Akano. So with each triple
Может, я не
spin,
заметил.
with your second or third spin, depending on the situation that you're in, you can basically align the momentum with Akano and basically just fly across a lot of levels that have Akano.
The only
Which
sad
is-
part about. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Excuse me. Which is like.
Если я
triple
правильно
spin,
помню,
to
именно
touch on
вот в
this,
этом уровне мы
it's the
будем первый раз
ability,
пользоваться
equal to running shoes that you usually get after defeating the final boss. So we won't be
маской
seeing it in this run.
Акана
Sadly,
для
other categories,
тоже
but
небольшого
if you
скипа.
ever check that out, that use it
Мы
as
здесь
a-
выйдем
I
в
think Moses
ОБ.
uses it the most, definitely, right?
Oh yeah,
Всё как бы
definitely like most
по классике.
some of like inverted and actually can show it off a lot in time trial too. But coming to this level, what is it called again? Dragon On.
Dragging on. Yep.
It's literally in the name too. The level drags on when you die too much.
Yeah,
So-
this level is pretty neat. It's one of the more. It's one of the only other levels in the game where you go vertically instead of horizontally, and you're going to be seeing Akano used to its full potential here. Really neat stuff is going to be coming up right now.
Не нужно никого булить,
Right,
булить-то
so
плохо.
with Akano,
Соответственно, здесь
specifically, there are a
мы
lot of momentum,
отпрыгиваем от ящиков,
manipulation you can do.
и вместо
Once
того,
that
как нам
the box
предполагается игрой
is
идти
behind the
направо,
jump
мы идем
with
налево.
Akano, as you
Там
jump
есть
off,
одно место
hold
с
X, you can
невидимой
basically
платформой, куда
have
можно
a lot,
попасть и встать, иначе
in
вы
your jump.
погибнете.
And that's the very
И
first
просто
skip
это здание
in the game
огибаем с другой
that
стороны,
excuse me,
делая это быстрее.
actually witnessed just now. When I first saw this skip, it was just near impossible for me to do. But like, I think there was one on PS5 and Series X or S that was patched with that one, but there was an alternative
Конечно.
to it.
Yeah,
Там
so
везде
they-
используют подкат
No, no,
спин.
you're right. They
Самый
don't patch it,
удобный способ
but what they did is
ускоряться.
basically they just implemented another wall, which can still you can still go over the
В этом
wall, it just takes
месте
longer. But they
тоже
just made the
мы
wall
выходим за
taller, so
ООБ.
it's still very skippable, it's just a bit different.
Но мы не можем из-за этого попасть прямо к ящику, мы попадаем под него.
Basically use the bounce. What you saw, Jordy. You just use the bounce momentum that you get to power Akano even more. As Akano is broken with momentum.
Yeah.
Right, so that's the very second skip towards the end of the level where he just uses the same bounce momentum manipulation and just gets a very high jump. He failed the first time near the checkpoint, but he got it off the second time with the TNTs as backup.
Yeah, very good backup there. And this is off bounce now, so this level has a really neat skip that's going to be at the end. And this is also the introduction of
Так,
the
в этом
wall,
уровне у нас
as you see right there. But
добавляется
obviously we're not gonna
дополнительная
be doing that
механика.
one.
Это специальные
And we'll be grabbing a
платформы
condo.
по
From
бокам,
that point on, we're
которые
just gonna be
позволяют
doing our best to
бегать
keep
по
the
стенам.
tempo, and you will see exactly how we will do that. And now
An
upcoming-
interesting thing with the wall runs is that when you jump off, you actually get like a bit of a momentum boost. It's like very minor, but
Yeah. And that elevator, I swear, is like the most troll elevator. Like, there still has to be a way to try to like make that cycle, but there just isn't one.
Unless you have the triple spin, there's absolutely no way.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Because like the time trial for this level is actually kind of clean. You can actually like...
Кстати говоря, вот вы могли заметить, там в начале уровня раннеру пришлось постоять. Проблема в том, что
All right.
единственное место в уровне, куда невозможно попасть по циклу, и придется ждать в любом случае.
Oh, and yeah, a little overshoot there. But he got the checkpoint. He got the checkpoint, so yeah.
A funny thing I can mention is that even if you skip the trigger, we're not supposed to have...
Еще довольно большой скип здесь. Мы проходим за карту, точнее за ее часть. Это занимает две фазы. Сначала мы поднимаемся наверх, потом улетаем через пропасть прямо к финальной точке. На самом деле довольно сложное место, потому что вы не видите, что вы делаете, находясь вверху.
you can also do that skip faster by going left side of the wall in the back.
Еще один босс-файт, к сожалению, не имеет ничего особо интересного, потому что вы просто его убиваете.
Now we have the second boss fight, Brio, which I would say is a throwback to Crash 1, because the general mechanics of the boss fight is the same as the original Crash 1, where he will throw out purple vials at you, you gotta dodge them, and then he will throw out green vials at you, which is slimes that you gotta spin, or... I don't know if you can jump them in this game. Do you jump them in...
У босса две фазы. Сначала он кидается зельями, потом становится Халком, и потом мы уже кидаемся самим боссом.
And then he does things in a Brio fashion and drinks his potions, which, you know, if you play the games, it's never smart.
It's a nice little updated fight where instead of jumping on Brio and relying on him getting close to you, you actually have to use a mask and actually knock him off yourself. It's a nice little update from the Crash 1 fight. But yeah, so on the very first phase here, he doesn't have Picano, now he does. So there's a little bit of buffering and some lining to Brio specifically. So because he follows you, you essentially line him up near the end of any edge and basically spin him with Akano. And if you time it right, you can kind of spin him and turn off Akano at the same time. That kind of knocks him back a little further in that regard, which actually guarantees you knocking him off with one hit off the edge.
Yeah, releasing Akano.
Сюжет стоит в... Вау!
Which is, no one can explain that, I think. It's just very weird. Like you saw...
Ну или так.
It just exists.
Yeah. Alright, so now we're going to be heading over to the Mosquito Marsh dimension, and we're going to be having
новый мир.
The casual
Очередной новый мир.
level coming up. And also, the reason why this game is a completion nightmare, inverted levels are now unlocked. So shout-outs to anyone who has ever attempted a 106 of this game. I commend you.
I think my best one, especially if this is about 106, I feel like this game can be done under 9 hours with no load times, to be exact. I think my best time so far is about 9 hours and 25 minutes.
Если я правильно помню,
So,
там Crash узнает, что
Inverted in particular after the
Entropy,
Inverted just
Cortez
it kind of really sucks the
и
life
этот
It-
Engine,
after playing the normal
они
stages,
снова
trying to
сделали
get
бяку, в
the
этот раз
perfect
поломали
routes, trying to
реальности,
be wary of all the
появились
cycles,
новые
as
маски.
you can see, Jordy, that was a very
Надо остановить.
you almost died there by that little smoke.
Yeah,
He got the, okay, he got the
Спасибо
fast
предыдущему
control.
боссу, то, что я успел доужинать.
So when it comes to 106,
Да, ужина, кстати говоря.
you kind of want to space out your completion and not just do the normal game and then right into inverted. You kind of just want to
Абсолютно линейный уровень. Здесь
and that's exactly what
практически ничего не происходит.
Yeah, however, in the any percent speedrun, this stage is not.
Ну, очевидно, что все не настолько просто, как я рассказываю, потому что нужно правильно следить с циклами. Они также связаны с музыкой, по ним можно их отслеживать.
The ghosts that shoot the trumpets and everything else in this level will actually follow the music cues still, and then sometimes like you'll have like an invisible shot come out from the trumpets and it'll still like manage to hit you because it's still in tune with the music instead of like the actual cycle.
I mean, it is called offbeat for a reason.
Very true. Staying true to its name.
Yeah, actually, man.
Ну, по сути, мы просто бежим вперед, потом будет небольшой автоскроллер.
Yeah, all things considered, yeah, you did get the God Cycle, so getting that elevator right there is really, really huge. It saves about like an additional 3 to 5 seconds depending on your movement.
Just like rock balance.
Джорди говорит, что я не знаю, что еще сказать про этот уровень, кроме того, что я его ненавижу.
Yes.
I despise the music. I
Мне
despise, like,
очень нравятся музыкальные уровни, но этот музыкальный уровень нужно проходить целиком. И это очень расстраивает меня.
But this one in specific just annoys. I don't know why. You can, you know, I'm sure I'll receive tons of like backlash for saying this because I know most people love this level, but you know, I'll take it. I'm proud of my opinions.
Alright, so this is the last part of Offbeat, which is just another rail section. So while the chat is grooving,
Остается меньше 13 тысяч до Хитмана, кстати говоря.
Just the donation here. It's $5 from Zach K that says, "We are so close to reaching not only Hitman, but also 600K. If not even half the current viewers threw in $5, we would blow past both of those goals. Let's go, Twitch chat." They're right. We're
Заканчиваем этот уровень.
$4,000 of 600K, and we're also within 13,000 of the Hitman 3 bonus game. We're so close, guys.
Let's make it happen.
Конечно, наберут. И мы наконец-то встречаемся со вторым дополнительным персонажем, Дингадайлем.
Yes,
Он тоже умеет крутиться, но наша основная фишка, ну, его основная фишка и наша для мувмента — это его чудо-пылесос.
Essentially, the vacuum is a way of just traversing the
С его
level.
помощью можно немножечко зависать в воздухе, то есть парить,
Moving a bit
и
slower in the air.
это позволяет нам
You
срезать
wanna
углы.
kind of decrease vacuum movement as much as possible, just to save time.
Ugh, every time I see you run this level, it's a nightmare for me to even comprehend the very specific movement across the little ledges and the planks. Although Dingodil's, you know, momentum and hitbox is pretty large. Well, and he's also dubbed one of the, you know, thick characters in the game. And that's figuratively and literally, because his
Как
hitbox
отмечает один
makes
из
him jump on
кастеров,
boxes so easily and
хитбокс
land on so many
Дингадайля
things very easily.
крайне удобен для того, чтобы приземляться на любые поверхности. Иначе говоря, нет необходимости прям точно вымерять 2-3 пикселя, условно говоря, и можно просто на пофигу приземлиться частью лапы, например.
I remember the time where I used to fail that sign jump like so often, but now it's simple.
It is a bit tricky to do, yeah.
Oh god, that massive jump before the 3 guys jump on. Oh,
I think
seriously.
in most people's casual playthrough, this was the level where people went, well, I will not
Как
go for
отмечает
every box, 'cause I
Джорди,
don't think this
на
level has,
этом
like,
уровне
400 boxes or
около
something.
400 коробок.
Something,
поэтому-
probably like somewhere around like 200-ish or so, but yeah.
Хоть
Well,
он и не уверен в этом,
No,
I-
что,
One of them has,
что
like,
около 400
400, I know.
коробок.
no,
И
no,
то, что это
no,
крайне,
it's
крайне
500.
уныло
Yeah,
для
no,
поиска
yeah,
их всех в казуальном
yeah,
прохождении.
500, yeah.
Вот так же очевидно,
Yeah, the
100%.
dingo levels are just stacked with crates.
But like at the same time, all those 500 boxes, most of them are just nitro.
Как вы сейчас
stacked
можете
on
заметить,
each other. It's not that big of a deal.
раннеру приходится иногда иметь дело с крайне
Yeah, that little
неудобными
guy
камерами
towards
из-за того, что он
you,
пропускает некоторые вещи.
bit of a camera.
398
Camera
коробок.
messes up there a bit before.
Oof.
Actually, you know, it actually comes back to you once you hit that checkpoint and go through towards the end.
So,
Yeah, like I
was right.
said, yeah, like I said one of earlier, some of the checkpoints are kind of useless, uselessly placed in some of the locations, and that last checkpoint before the end of the level was one of them.
There was 398 boxes in that level, so that is a
И
400.
возвращаемся к
that is a
крэшу.
lot then.
Yeah. That's what I thought. That I remembered seeing that. I was like, oh. But actually, you saw a little glimpse of a yellow gem up in the corner here, above the 4 boxes that Jordy's now passing. Which, you know, we don't use here, obviously, but it's a nice little fact for you guys that haven't finished your casual playthrough. Spoiler alert, by the way. I'm sorry.
well, their playthrough's now ruined.
One other funny thing, I think
Hitman 3,
Trilogy
Trilogy Campaign на профессионале с тиммейтом стоит целый час. Так что у вас будет время насладиться.
So a lot of coyote time manipulation, and he barely made that.
Мы продолжаем наблюдать
Yeah, the rope
довольно
did jump off.
казуальное
Yeah,
прохождение.
Some of the ropes and their hang time, or not hang time, like once they have you latch onto them, some of them are like kind of different, and run it by you here. That
Итак,
happens to be
здесь
one of the
еще
levels that
один
they have.
скип.
Some of the ropes are just
Мы сейчас
oddly
буквально превратим Крэша в
loaded for
Иисуса.
some reason. Like, you either latch on them
Здесь
at
можно
the
выйти
tip,
в ОБ
at
и,
the lower
не
tip, or
активируя
just
триггер,
negate them, and the game just kills you off.
мы
So
ходим по
the
воде,
upcoming
но
skip in this one is
это не
to just
убивает
slide
нас.
jump all the way, towards the left and just
И мы пропускаем целую
just,
часть
go
с
through the
кучей
entire
ящиков и
boat
прыжков
section
прямо к
without riding the boat more.
лодке.
So you kind of have to position yourself for the camera to basically follow you. So in this regard, you just have to
Ну, это
skip
скорее,
the-
конечно,
you
не
can just skip the
лодка,
entire boat section with no worries.
нечто вроде
That little
серфинга.
log back there for some reason has a hitbox in some versions, but on PC I believe it doesn't have a hitbox. Under the entire jetboard, you just have to essentially go backwards a little and just line yourself enough for the game to carry you through the entire floor and just have you roll with the jetboard downhill.
There you see a bit of fake
И
crash.
так
And
заканчивается
boost.
очередной уровень.
Hey, the
Speed
big
boost,
jump.
Let's
Nice.
go.
That's
Okay.
big. That saves
Love to
1
see it.
second.
Does it really save 1 second? That big
It's
of a
like
boost.
once. It's pretty big, yeah.
Wow.
Да, там стоял фейк
I'm
краш.
not getting it.
Yes.
Тоже
It's
заметил.
random. We don't know what causes it.
Well, now we've got to go back to my favorite.
Зимний уровень. Ух.
Just like at the beginning of the game where I was doing it by accident.
See, you were preparing
Yes.
for this moment, so this is why you had 30 FPS at the start.
Yes.
So what I can say quickly while we enter the 30 FPS stuff is that this is
Собственно,
my favorite level.
мы
This is the
переключаемся
demo
на
level. I love this level. I still love this level.
30 кадров в
Yeah.
секунду
It's
ограничения.
a very, very
Берем
good level to
новую
basically
маску,
introduce
которая
this
позволяет
into
замедлять
the
время.
demo.
И как
So, good mask,
Капунова.
Kapunova,
И,
simple enough, she just
как я говорил раньше, я так и не понял, почему это так работает, но когда мы замедляем, а потом обращаем нормальную скорость, нормальное течение времени, нас телепортирует вперед. Постоянно.
So, just to summarize how this mask works, for some reason, the lower the frame rate, the faster you're able to skip frames. So what you have to do is basically have both mask power buttons press down at the same time.
Как говорит один из кастеров, они тоже не понимают, почему это так работает, но если одновременно зажаты две кнопки, которые отвечают за включение и выключение маски, вы просто перемещаетесь вперед.
Friends, if I have a moment to step in here, we are less than $2,000 away from reaching 600,000, and we are less than $11,000 away from reaching the
Осталось
Hitman
меньше
3 bonus
11 тысяч
game.
до
You're doing amazing.
Great job, guys.
Hitman?
Keep it up.
Also, there are a lot of, like, as you've probably seen, like, some of the boxes you can see in backgrounds for stuff, and people think that this game is
Whoa.
oh, what
That's a
happened
thing
here?
if you activate the
okay.
mask at the end.
Is that a GDQ classic? Never seen that before?
I've had it happen once. If you activate the mask by accident and slow
Okay.
time as you go into the exit, you basically have
Okay.
a slow ending.
Okay, because that was definitely new to me.
What I was gonna say is that in a casual playthrough of this, there are tons of boxes you will not find in your first playthrough. and
Если я
it
правильно
does
помню,
work
в этом
very
уровне нам
interactive
напомню,
and
там
find
такой,
where to put them. And some
по-моему,
are
зовут его
straight up
Пола, полярный медведь.
just very, what should
на
I
котором
say,
часто каталась
impossible
Коко.
to find.
Maniacal.
Yeah.
Вроде бы Пола он его звали.
I mean, to be fair, some things you can kind of.
Как вы можете заметить, камера просто не поспевает за Crash'ем.
They're known for really well-detailed environments and exploration.
И только благодаря тому, что здесь чекпоинт, мы можем ее вернуть в нормальное состояние.
Same thing as the previous level. You're able to skip time, including on the rail grind.
Polar.
One key
Спасибо.
thing with these doors that close and open are they have a trigger. So if you skip the trigger, they will never open. So you gotta be wary of those triggers when skipping time. So that was a very
camera-
quick.
The camera is also not very good at keeping up.
Yeah.
So,
Бонг, бонг.
This level is
Minimum
just
headshot.
like this level just fit. It can be done in like less than 30 seconds essentially, and that's the. I'm surprised you even died there.
Yeah, this part of the level is very difficult. The way that Jordy is going for these time skips, like instead of just slowing down time, he's like actually trying to skip through it. And I guess that'll be it for 30 FPS
Возвращаемся
for now.
к нормальному
We,
фреймрейту.
see the more applicable uses later on in the run.
For a second, I thought we were gonna have a glimpse of 75 FPS.
That's a bit too ambitious. We're not ready for 75 yet.
That would have thrown me off again if I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
All right, so there's not much time skipping action outside of those two main levels.
В
Of course, if there's
этом
any
и
time skipping
в следующем уровне,
that's
ну, в этом
majorly
точно,
in the
потому что я
level,
точно помню,
you would have to
нету
essentially
каких-то
go back to
особо
30 for that split second,
главных
or
гличей,
for that
позволяющих
second
сохранить время,
for
только
particular level. But this level doesn't
улучшение
have it. It
маршрута.
doesn't have, like, it only has one single instance of it, and it's not really that useful because it involves nitros. So bears repeating. This level was, or no, is or no, it was notorious for its very weird hitbox with Polar, the little bear that you ride on that also makes a return from Crash 2. So, yep, he got also fixed.
Поэтому
and,
проходим
this
его
level
довольно
is known as one of the
казуально.
most hated level. That title actually goes to Jet or Jetty. Second one being offbeat. Thanks, Marcus.
Oh, nice. He got the neat little
Крутые
jump
парни,
right
как
there.
говорится, не смотрят на взрыв, да?
About another second or two. Very clean.
One thing I don't know if we touched on yet is the fact that he does like bounce on the nitro, which is something you can do while mask is slowed down. That's
А
one
вот
of
и
the
Polar
powers of the
и
mask. I don't know if we did mention
Neo
that.
Cortex.
No,
Oh,
we
yeah.
haven't.
Yeah,
No, we
it
haven't.
is intended.
Yes.
Yeah, so bouncing on nitros used to kind of also be a thing in the original Crash 3, the predecessor of this game. And if you time your double jump right with a nitro, you can kind of use it to your advantage where you could just trigger the nitro without it killing you. It's kind of the same thing in this game, but it involves more RNG with the nitro and does not involve the double jump. So if to summarize, if a nitro jumps with you as you're jumping on it, it's kind of like a frame jump where you're basically
Обычный
guaranteed to not
скроллер,
well,
ничего интересного. Просто следуем за Кортексом,
$1,000 of 600,000.
который в итоге улетает
Would say we
на
got
лыжах.
a Time for one quick donation.
Oh yeah.
Стою я летом в
Here's
лыжи
$10
обутый.
from Cornbread Sev that says, "This is a haiku. Jordy's doing great, but you missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 99 boxes."
Can you imagine if this game actually had the same box ending as Crash 1? Can you imagine how that would be in a level
Yeah.
like no dillo-dallying? Just 500 boxes being smashed onto your head.
Crash
That
would be
kinda
dead.
funny.
There's actually, I think it's
Очередной
this level that we just
босс
did. There's a you can
Батл, в
break a
котором,
box as you
к
go into
сожалению,
the
нет
bonus.
ничего
So it
интересного.
counts as double boxes, like one in bonus
Просто
and one outside. So you could use that to like
заученные
gain advantage
механики.
of one box while going into the polar section when it was still very difficult to do.
Yeah,
That was
but
that level, right?
no, it's actually in its timeline level, building
Oh,
bridges.
yeah. I thought it was one of the two. I just couldn't remember which.
Yeah, it's still the same level, but it's in a different, time
Yeah.
aspect. So coming into Cortex boss fight number 1, actually, 'cause
No.
there's a second.
The last.
Кстати говоря,
last
это
boss fight.
только
We're
первый
50 minutes
бой
ahead
с
of us.
Кортексом. Нас ждет еще
Obviously, yeah.
один бой.
Boss fight.
You know how Crash games go. We always, Cortex is always the final boss. We meet him at this point in the game. We're looking good. We're being solid.
Oh, okay, so this makes this literally just makes To Insanity a very short game then.
In that aspect, yes, it does.
So here you see, I actually think this is the
Как
most
отмечает
difficult
Джорди, он
boss
считает,
fight
что
ever.
для
Like, there's
казуального
really hard
прохождения
to
это самый
dodge all
сложный
this
босс,
that's
потому что
going on,
необходимо
then you have
много
to
всего доджить,
smash the punch spot back
но при этом вы еще только в середине игры
I did this
и могли
boss fight on
еще
my
не
first
особо
time without
привыкнуть.
realizing the mask existed, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it's very, very subtle
Плюс-
because it doesn't help that Kapunowa
Здесь
has,
прям совсем
kinda,
нужно
the
использовать
same,
маску, иначе без нее не
texture as,
получится нанести урон
Crash
боссу.
is, burping, almost like a tannish orange kind of thing. So a lot of
То есть
people
нужна
miss
очень
out
хорошая
on that
реакция.
on their first playthrough.
And then they also ask or wonder how do I beat this boss? And before they realize that they actually have the time mask on.
Yeah.
So another thing that you can do in this fight is if you're not a casual, you can also just swag walk across everything. I think Jordy also did this a bit earlier on the fight in the second hit. But yeah, this fight casually, it's pretty notorious. It's actually one of the more difficult fights, ironically. But in a running aspect, it's not that bad at all. More often than not,
Отправляемся
you might as
в
well just not
далекое
even use
прошлое
the
к
mask
динозаврам.
at all. You'll still have the fight to your advantage regardless. So after
what
that
happened-
fight, go on.
Yeah, what happens in that, after that fight, as Abdul was probably about to say, but
Ну, честно, я считаю большинство раз на 100% довольно скучными. Даже если они длятся там условные 2 часа.
So Cortex wasn't the last boss fight, and they're now, eternally friends. They hug. It's a whole sentimental scene, and you should watch it because it is probably the most sentimental Crash we'll ever get. Because we're not known, the games are not known for that.
Crash, I've been like a father to you. I've created you, nursed you, tried to destroy you.
Trying to destroy you.
So what do you say?
Ну вот шарф будешь комментировать.
And their vacuum stupidity will make them unbeatable. I don't know, I forgot.
Надеюсь,
that line
найдет там
precisely, but it's just
12
one of
часов.
the very first things
Просто
that
чтобы
reminded me when I
бесконечно.
first saw that cutscene.
It was a good effort.
Yeah.
So, very short level, Blast of the Past. There's really not much to it other than just basic. It's a very basic level for a prehistoric, or a very first level for a dimension. It's
Комментатор
so
только
fun
что
to
сказал,
play.
что это очень простой уровень, как и любой из первых в новом
As I say
измерении.
that, he dies.
И
I died by this
Джорди
TNT, I just got
помирает на
that.
TNT.
Yeah.
So
Certainly interesting.
Jordy gotta show some love to the TNT crates as well, because they all the crates need love. They do have emotions, as proved by Iron Checkpoint crate or whatever it's called in Nitro Fuel. So
Yeah.
I do think during this grind roll section that we have time for a donation or two.
Well, now's a great time because we are within $150 of reaching 600,000. I've got a lot of smaller donations here for a $5 train, including this one from Big Ol' PhD. Another haiku for a hitman. The $5 train comes for you, 47. All aboard, baby.
think we got one more.
Here's $300 from Lochno saying, let's get that Hitman 3 bonus game incentive met. Got plenty more here if we got time.
I think we need a bit of time before,
Переходим к следующему уровню, знакомимся первый раз уже с Неокортексом, как с персонажем.
So you'll see earlier that basically
Он
Crash and Cortex made
своим бластером умеет
this is a Cortex level.
превращать предметы
Exists.
в платформы, скакивающие, ну, от которых можно скачать и обычные.
Even though he has the fastest
И
dash in the game,
как отмечает Танер, этот персонаж не был придуман для того, чтобы проходить игру быстро.
If they just gave him his hover boots, it would not be so bad. You know, just to emphasize a double jump or something, to not make the jumps vigorously annoying. But no, his levels they're not that bad. Like, as the name suggests, it's Cortex. His levels are actually designed for him specifically. That includes the single jump that he actually has. And more often than not, you'll actually see a lot of dashes across a lot of things. And it includes some gaps too, later down the line. There's actually going to be another level that where it's actually recommended to play.
А еще он очень много разговаривает.
That includes Tana and Dingo Dial as well. But yeah, this level is kind of a little short. It's actually Cortex's gameplay is like, by definition, it's more focused.
По сути, геймплей за Неокортекса, его уровни это больше пазлы, чем у остальных персонажей.
Because for some reason, with his ray gun, things don't really work well in 3D. In 2D gameplay, I think that's where his gameplay actually shines the most. So even in 2D, sometimes he tends to shoot backwards for some odd reason, or even towards the distance or towards the camera. But yeah, that's that level done until 30 minutes.
I made
later.
Cortex look a lot
Ну,
more
по сути,
usable
сам
than
таран интересный,
right there.
но вот столько кастеров там точно не нужно.
So that's impressive.
Friends, we have passed 600,000.
Oh, we did it!
That's a
Nice.
huge milestone.
Nice.
Good job, everyone.
Great job. All right, so this level right here is another one of the demo stages that was playable before the game officially came out. It's just Dino Dash, and this level has a lot of hole skipping, so that's what you're going to be
И
seeing. We have a big
этот
hill
уровень,
section
как
here, followed by
еще
some
один
chasing, so this is actually
до этого
perfect
был
for the
в
demolition train that you can do.
демо-версии,
Fantastic.
поэтому он является одним из любимых уровней
Mick Crody, who
Джорди.
says, as his best
Но для
friend,
спидана у него
please
есть
take
одна
1,000
маленькая
cash
проблема.
for the Coco slander. Thank you very much.
Это очередной скроллер,
There we have the third and final like HD,
которым,
like all over
кроме
HD server
мастерства
mod,
передвижения,
Mac
показывать
Brody,
больше нечего.
Rico, and then myself, so they're all been mentioned in some way or another. And I will not stop the Coco standard because I am the single Coco hater in the trio of three. They both love her, and I will not stand for it. This is a Coco free zone. As you see, Jordy is fully supporting me on that.
Yes. I will never use Coco on a run. Loses 3 frames, what can I say?
All right. Yeah, more donations can come through, more rail section and Dino chasing coming up.
Here's $5 from Anonymous, who says, I heard the Hitman 3 incentive hasn't been met. Let's fix that. Here's $25 from Wormsbane, who says, so hyped for this Crash run and super excited to see the Hitman run. GDQ is such a fantastic event for such a good cause. Thank you to everyone who...
Грустно, что не было донат войны за то, каким персонажем играть. Я бы все-таки хотел посмотреть на Коко.
It's a very generous donation from a very generous community member that supports like basically everyone in the community. She is absolutely fantastic, and we can't thank her enough for all that she does and the voice she has in the community. So, yeah,
И уровень, конечно, заканчивается.
Yeah, you can squeeze in a couple more.
Absolutely. Here's $25 from Palm Tree Union, who says, "Oh Lord."
Но не беспокойтесь, самые интересные гличи оставлены на последний сегмент игры с появлением последней маски.
think we've all been there.
Там игра ломается прям полностью.
James, who says it's about time we're seeing Crash 4 at SGDQ. Shoutouts to Jordy for this insane run. Slide, spin, repeat. Let's get that Hitman incentive.
Okay, and then with that, we're going to be coming up to the Bermugula orbit.
И мы
And,
наконец-то
we're going to be introduced to
здесь
our last mask,
получим
which is
последнюю
Ika Ika.
маску. Называется Ика-Ика.
This mask is broken,
А,
and you'll see why.
Здесь глич состоит в том, что если вы выходите назад,
Very disorienting. Yes.
то маска с вас снимается, но если делаете это во время дэша, то триггер не сработает. А эта маска как работает? Она меняет для крэша притяжение. Иначе говоря, он начинает притягиваться к потолку. А поскольку потолка нет, мы просто летаем на самый верх. И пропускаем всю часть этого уровня. Далее здесь нужно очень-очень аккуратно и правильно потянуться к потолку, не пользуясь лифтом, чтобы камера осталась за спиной. Иначе следующую часть уровня с ООБ мы пройти не сможем, камера заблокируется, и мы не сможем просто ориентироваться. Добро пожаловать в ООБ Крэша.
#devwork.
This means the skip was maybe intended all along. That's what it means.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was left in there for sure. So right here, what is happening is Jordy's going to be just flying up all the way towards an invisible platform area that is actually a portion of the level that's later on in the run.
Летев вверх, ищем ногами невидимую платформу.
It skipped an unskippable cutscene that was earlier in the level, along with a bunch of other platforming sections that don't use
После чего загружаем оставшуюся часть уровня и
и
продолжаем бежать к выходу за пределами, в ОБ, Outer Bounds.
Last chunk of the level to load, and now that we know where to go, we can just skip right to the end.
Yeah,
Right past this
so
elevator.
So one thing to say about Ika Ika is that there are limitations to its power in specific that where you can only turn.
Единственная проблема с Ика-Ика это то, что эту маску можно активировать только 2 раза, до тех пор, пока вы не окажетесь
that's what I wanted to add.
на поверхности, с которой начали. Значит говоря, если вы начали... нет, не начали. Ну, с любой поверхности, иначе говоря.
I'm giving shipping error a shout out as well by going into the level.
Oh yes, classic shipping error. It's such a good level. You just had to enter it, right?
I mean, he obviously loved the Cortex gameplay so much in Fossil Fuel that he really wanted to play shipping here.
Okay, so upcoming
Этот уровень не настолько сломан, здесь почти всегда мы просто идем вперед, как предполагается уровнем.
Fairly linear path here. Not really too much to say about it, except just some tight jumps and I guess hole skips. And outside of that, I guess you could just squeeze in some more donations.
I can certainly do that. Here is a $50 donation from some egrets. Sorry, no haiku. I'm not a clever bird. Let's just hit some mans. I have a $47
Времени остается чуть больше 8000
Your target is barely
до
10k away. Take the shot.
третьего Хитмана.
I do actually have a haiku here. It's $25 from Cornbread Seb, who says, "We sure love our trains. This one stops at Hitman 3. The train goes choo-choo."
All right, so yeah. Oh, go ahead.
What you see here is like a puzzle of some kind, like that you use Ika Ika to manipulate through the boxes, and it changes the labyrinth every time. It's quite an interesting thing in a Crash game. I don't think there's many other Crash games with stuff like that. I can't recall a single one, unless I'm very wrong. But I think it's a
конец уровня. Довольно линейно,
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, a good chunk of this game actually has like a few like callbacks into I always say that like Home Cooking, the level that we saw Dingo Dial in earlier, kind of has like Sly Cooper vibes to it. So yeah, this level Stowing Away kind of does have like that Ratchet and Clank feel to it.
It does feel like a very like what is it called? that it calls back to a lot of like PS1, PS2 era platformers. Like it pays homage to a lot of them. It feels like.
Yeah,
Тоже
I feel
не
like this
самый
level in
интересный уровень.
particular is like very Ratchet and Clank-esque.
Definitely.
Environment.
So in this level, I think for those that are aware of Crash history, you may or may not know that this level's name is quite literally named after the cancelled Crash game, Crash Landed. Or also, I
Кстати говоря, как отмечают один из кастеров, для тех, кто увлекается Крэшем и, возможно, не знал, данный уровень, а именно Crash Land, назван в честь одной из отмененных игр по Крэшу.
So yeah, and ironically, you also have another writing section that is not polar, however, it's a very, very...
Так что это довольно интересная информация.
It's like alien cat. Well, the
I would
species.
say, like,
That's a new one.
Yeah.
The species of it is it actually has a name. It's called a schnurgle.
It is called a schnurgle, but you guys call it Tim.
No. Rico called it Tim. No one else calls it Tim. No one else calls it Tim. It's not Tim.
Unofficial dubs here. Also, neat little section coming up here. So, when you're using slime physics and you combine it with the gravity switching with Ika here, you can gain
Тут нам
a huge momentum
крайне
boost,
желательно на
as
самом
you've
деле
seen
иметь
here
смазку.
in this section. Probably top 5 favorite parts of this speedrun. Just like
Oh, yeah.
На
blasting through this
случай,
entire
если
section.
нас что
Also,
зацепит.
time trial strat.
It's really satisfying, you know, just pulling it off like in motion. It's just really satisfying seeing the whole section just fly off in the camera. So, go on.
You really ruined this whole thing for me. I'm gonna think of that as like one mutated cat from now on. Like, this is horrible.
Hey, see, even the chat agrees with me. All of them love Tim.
Yeah,
All right,
Tim
so you know
the
what?
cat.
There we go. I guess we're calling it we're just gonna establish that it is Tim from now on. I guess by unanimous decision.
It's Tim the cat. That's important to note.
Tim the alien cat.
Yeah, Tim the cat.
All right. So yeah, not much to say about this final section except the last part of it is actually pretty difficult. The platforming is it's really interesting because there are certain paths that you can take to get towards the end section. You can go from the right, the left, or you could go straight down the middle, which I believe Jordy is going to go for the middle here. Very tight jumps here.
Yeah, because if you go for that first one towards the right side while boosting, you just bump your head on the geometry and just die off. So for some
It's
reason,
more
like
dangerous.
yeah, it's more dangerous, and like most things are like unified into one cycle because you know it is a big game and things load very fast, and like 2 or 3 chunks per level section.
Переходим к уровню
No clue who named him Tim,
с
but
энтропи.
if you're watching this, please don't name anything
И,
else.
судя по всему,
I bet
он
you
здесь
right
нашел
now, like Rico
девушку.
somewhere is just smiling that everyone loves the name Tim for the alien cat.
Definitely winning over.
All right, he grabbed the first fruit. Okay, good. All right, so this is just the rail section here.
A fun thing I want to say.
Yeah, go
a
ahead.
fun thing I want to say fast is that we did commentary practice and we said, Jordy, go for the berries, because something funny happens. And he missed the first one. Like, we were hoping that wouldn't happen here, and he got the first one.
Вот
So,
я, конечно,
congratulations now,
не
let's
настолько
go.
уверен,
Yeah.
но из того, что я вижу в этом уровне, мне вот прям почему-то очень сильно напоминает первый геймплейный тизер-трейлер Ratchet & Clank нового. Прям вот совсем напоминает.
Donations then.
Может, это просто мой больной мозг ассоциирует их вместе
Here's
почему-то.
$5 from fellow host the Kyle Thomas, who says, "Here's the correct amount of chuggas for the $5 train. Chugga, 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 choo choo. Keep it cute, chat." I did count those correct. Just to point this out.
Excellent work.
Here's $5 from Supersphere that says, "Ah yes, Louise. Couldn't help but donate during this run, so good luck, Jordy. You've got this. Oh, and great job on the
That's it.
Louise skip."
О!
All right, so here is the big moment right here that everyone's waiting for. And that's the reason why they collect all those berries. A neat little
Так,
Easter
а у
egg.
меня сломался звук на трансляции,
I normally go for
прекрасно.
a drink break there.
Yeah, but what was more important in the GDQ run, obviously.
Да, мы подходим
Yes,
к
but normally more
боссу
is more
энтропии.
important.
I also also want to point out, if I'm not wrong, Taco, Super Sphere is the one that found Luis, correct?
Yes,
Ну,
he did.
как подходит.
Yeah,
Сначала нужно до него
so
добраться,
thank you a lot for that
до них.
information. That is very cool. And thank you for finding Luis.
Yes.
Most of all.
Здесь мне получится сейчас починить
So
плеер,
this
потому что я
fight is
оставался
not
без
really a
звука.
fight as much just getting to the place where we need to go and just hitting a bunch of stuff. So this is actually another place for donations.
Отлично. Этот босс
$100 from Solarium saying,
Раз-
so glad to see Crash
неплохо
4
так отличается от
see someone as nutty as
остальных.
Jordy destroy it. Good luck on the run and don't forget to...
Куда больше платформинга, нежели чем драки с энтропией.
Solarium also another runner that is running Crash 4 at the moment, I believe. I
Yes.
might be wrong.
One thing to add into this boss fight is that it was actually meant to be a lot more difficult and actually have an extra phase after these 2 hits. So the Rift Generator more or less was meant to actually attack you directly after the shields come off, and the rail grinding section was actually meant to be a lot more tougher than what it actually is.
Минус еще один противник Крэша. Осталась лишь только вторая
At least we got a
версия
neat little Easter egg out of it.
Yeah,
Неокортекса.
if you skip this ending portion fast enough,
А, у нас город будущего.
Crash just standing in the horizon, staring
Oh,
at the
yeah,
red
yeah.
generator.
All right, so yeah, that's the end of the game, right? Yeah, we're done. We beat Entropy. That's it. That is the story goes.
Yes, now Crash and Cortex is eternally friends, and definitely Cortex didn't just like take his words back and is now trying to destroy him.
Yeah, good. So
Definitely not what happened.
So this dimension here is supposed to basically be like the quote-unquote epilogue. As we're
Этот
alluded to
уровень
when, upon
в
first
Удран,
playthrough. We're still
первый раз в
free-running.
игре, предполагает
One of the
то, что
first
мы будем
levels that
использовать
uses
все
all
4
the
маски,
maps, but we're
но
only gonna be using 2 because
нам
of another skip
нет
that's
в этом
gonna be coming.
необходимости, нам нужно только 2.
I personally call this dimension the diabetes dimension because it's officially called the snacks dimension, but you know how snacks
Используем ика-ика,
you don't want to
чтобы
get too
улететь
fat when
куда-то
using
подальше.
multiple masks.
Yeah, so right here is gonna be another fly all the way to the end of
И
the
если я
level.
правильно помню, здесь,
Thing,
по-моему,
so,
прямо
not much
к
really going on
выходу
here.
из
We're
уровня
just
мы
gonna
должны
be trying to look
приземлиться.
for a visual cue here, so if you want to get some donations going on, go for it.
Oh boy, do I have the perfect donation here. This is $10,000 here from The Yeti.
Whoa.
It says,
Wow.
hey y'all, Yeti here. I heard we were doing haiku. Let this cryptid take a crack at it. Haiku are simple, but sometimes they have weird ends abominable? You know what? Good enough.
Только что шел
Thank you, Yeti,
донат
for the
с очень старым
$10,000.
хайку
Amazing
на
donation.
10 тысяч $10,000.
Yeah, that
I'm
is
speechless.
amazing. Yeah,
But
that
that's
is
молодец.
amazing. So now we see Crash fly. We probably have time for one more, right?
Yes, so you do one more.
One more here. Let me pick a good one. This is $100.
Собственно, да, я, видимо,
from
все-таки правильно
Spider-Fan
помню,
that
что мы
says, "Happy to see my
приземляемся
favorite
почти
Crash
около
game
самого
represented
конца.
at GDQ by
Мы
one
собрали
of the
целых
best
9%
runners around. Good luck, Jordy.
фруктов
Cortex
Умпа-Лумпа.
Another
And
very
nice. He got the end of the level to load there, so that's the most important part about that skip. So really good job there, Jordy.
first try on that
Thank
skip is very difficult, and yeah, really good job, Jordy.
Another run killer, basically.
Умпа-Лумпы.
Yeah, if the level doesn't like load, you have to do it blind. Unless you walk all the way back.
Возвращаемся к Дингадайлю.
Take a long
В
process.
этом мире у нас в целом будет локация, где необходимо будет всеми доступными для прохождения героями основными, то есть исключая вариативность между Коко и Крэшем,
Oh, hey, look, it's Dingo Dog.
собраться почти в одном месте.
Yeah, so this level is actually a two-parter. It's the longest level in the game. So the first section you play as Dingo Dell, trying to get to one part from point A to point B.
Тут есть Spire
And then
Shark.
the second part you play as Tana. And that is the only time that you ever play as these two again in the run. So yeah, enjoy Dingo Dell and Tana while you guys can.
I feel like they could have separated these 2 portions into 2 separate levels, so it's not vigorously annoying completion-wise. Because when it comes to completion, this level is long, but like you kind of get used to it normally. But when you go to the inverted,
Я был бы не
it's
удивлен,
like
если бы такая
twice as
пасхалка
long
была.
at that point.
This level was painful to miss a crate on, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Господи, какая же офигенная анимация передвижения у Дингодаля. Просто вот тут.
Things are just vastly open.
Я иду, и мне все по барабану.
Fauna not so much.
Попробуйте мне что-нибудь сделать.
It's a linear path.
Я
Some
машина.
involves rail grinding, actually. But this level is actually fun in its own merit. The only time where it's not so fun and it actually becomes a bit terrifying, especially when you're going for a deathless run, is towards the very end where you kind of have to dodge a myriad of traffic. And so coming right now is the end of the Dingodile section after these few truck jumps. Oh yeah, by the way, with that mask, you're not able to carry
Собственно, теперь мы
or between
играем
levels,
за
actually. So between
Toughness.
characters or levels, you're not really able to carry masks. So if you have a mask, just abuse it however you want, and yeah, save time.
Yeah, this is a safety mask though. Don't trust the nitros.
Здесь будет довольно
Yeah,
много
always gotta
проездок
be
на рельсах.
because those nitros can be really bad. For lack of
А
a better term.
также
So, yeah, this
довольно
section,
опасный платформинг
Tana's level, this
с точки
Tana's
зрения
level is nothing but
визуального
just
прохождения.
rolling sections, so
Но, на мой взгляд,
platforming
все уровни с
itself is,
ней
not much
получились
super,
самыми удачными в игре.
like, super
Ну,
interesting.
я имею в
Talk
виду
about a
как
few corner cuts here and there, but other than that,
дополнительно
yeah, this would be
развлекающие.
perfect for, more donations to come in.
Потому что в целом я считаю, что когда в игре есть место, где можно поменять правила этой игры, и это сделано качественно, это классно. Даже те же самые уровни с неокортексом, они, да, сильно выбиваются из темпа игры. Это все-таки больше пазлы, но, скажем так, когда ты на условную платину играешь там 2 уровня в течение 2 часов, чтобы выбить все, потом просто походить и порешать пазлы тоже полезно и помогает расслабиться.
Alrighty, then I'll keep going until you guys cut me off.
Yeah, no worries.
Here is $200 from Cybercarp that said, "Did somebody say a hitman could happen? Let's do it for the marble with the screaming man inside." That's a good reference to earlier's prize segment. Here's a $50 donation from Destination Mark, who says, "It's great to see Crash 4 at SGDQ this year. Here's to Jordy
У меня такое чувство, что либо у меня лагает официальная трансляция, либо он сейчас играет в 30 FPS,
Mark is actually
потому что анимации выглядят как-то очень-очень странненько.
You can continue.
yeah, you can be sorry.
Alright, here's $75 from the Knight of Nye, who said, "Had to donate during the Crash 4 run. I died so much during my first playthrough of this, and Jordy is making it look so easy. Keep up the great run." $25 here from Mikey, who said, "I took time off my job this week to see as much GDQ as possible. Totally worth it. Great event as usual. We could have even more GDQ with Hitman. Come on, chat, we can reach that goal."
Make it happen.
Продолжаем.
Go ahead, yeah.
Here's a $47.47 donation from hitmaps.com. Mr. Mike from hitmaps.com here. Let's make that Hitman 3 run happen.
И теперь двое
Still got some more here if we got time.
находятся на
You got, like,
финише.
a couple more.
Here's $250 from Mr. Rister saying, "So happy to be able to donate to such an important cause. As an infectious disease doctor working in the USA,
И
I'm
теперь
so
уровень
proud
за
to hear of all
неокортекса
the great work the
сначала,
folks at Doctors
а
Without
потом
Borders
за
are doing
Крэша.
worldwide. Thank you for the $250. And speaking of, another $250 donation here from Melbaz19, who said, "We watch A/SGDQ every year and love donating to such wonderful causes while watching such incredible speedruns. Best of luck to all the runners, and may you raise all the
И
monies."
это самый последний уровень
Alright,
за
so
кортекса.
with all that being said, so here is Cortex again. This is actually the last Cortex level that we'll be playing in. And so at this point in the game, Cortex is trying to catch up with the rest of the crew.
Собственно, как вы можете заметить,
Dingo,
геймплей за кортекс состоит в
what he's
дэше
gonna be doing here is gonna be a lot of
и
dashing over, a
в
lot of
превращении
over and over again.
всего необходимого в
The lot of 2D
платформы.
platforming also. We didn't get to mention from when he was playing in Fossil Field that Cortex really shines in his 2D platforming because during the 3D sections, his controls can go a little wonky, but the 2D sections is definitely where he really shines.
And also one thing that wasn't really highlighted with Cortex's gameplay is that he has two different mechanics aside from his dash and single jump. If you shoot once towards an enemy, they become a solid obstacle that you can land on. If you shoot them twice, they become a gelatone or a jellified platform that you can jump on.
He turns them into jelly, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
his gameplay is pretty much monotone in that regard.
Можете заметить, к сожалению,
So this room we call here
за
the
Cortex,
trash cycle, literally because there's just a bunch of
особо
trash cans that we turn into jelly.
не посвящаешь время.
And we're coming up in the final section. So
И?
the level actually doesn't end with Cortex. It actually ends with Crash. As at this point in the game,
Уровень
Cortex
за Краша.
realizes, wait a minute,
Ну
I
как
have a
уровень?
time mask.
Маленькая
Why don't I
часть
just go
уровня за
back in
Краша.
time and prevent this from ever happening. So that's what's basically going to be happening as Crash tries to chase Cortex all the way down here. And I want to see if Jordy can pull out this funny little glitch at the end here. See if he gets it.
Maya got it. Yeah.
And there we go. All right. See you later, Crash. I love seeing
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah,
love
it's a
that glitch
funny
so
thing.
much. Yeah, you know what? Totally worth.
The Yeet Escape.
И теперь
It is tradition.
мы уже подходим к
for
окончанию.
every run that makes it to this point and it's not PB, we throw Crash to the next part of the island.
Alright, so this is only exclusive to the PC version for some odd reason. The blimp is supposed to throw Crash into this level in the map, nitro processing, but for some reason the game on PC just throws it
Это
to
остров
escape.
Кортекса. И здесь,
So,
благодаря
the final dimension in this
великолепной
game is
маске
Cortex Island, where
Ика,
you
мы тоже будем пропускать огромные части
Cortex
уровня.
basically kidnaps Capunawa, the time mask, and basically opens up a portal, as Tacos explained earlier. Basically goes back in time before the events of the first game, and you basically have to go through sewage and into the castle to basically stop Cortex from turning back time. So this skip right here essentially is a very
Как вы можете заметить, некоторая часть уровня не прогрузилась из-за того, что мы выходили в ОБ, а также снова ломается карта. Поэтому это приходится сделать немножко почти слепую. Далее нам необходимо аккуратно выйти в ОБ, встать на маленькую платформу и вылететь на очередную невидимую платформу, которая находится сразу... Здесь идет поворот. Кстати говоря, здесь карта не всегда прогружается даже частично, поэтому иногда приходится помереть в этом месте. Конечно, это можно сделать вслепую, но, так сказать, мы же сейчас не гонимся за мировым рекордом. Можно потратить некоторое время на это. В данном месте нам предлагают сменить маску, но мы можем сохранить Ика. Но раннер решает все-таки взять маску для изменения времени, потому что иногда используют так, иногда используют так.
Yeah, so in that part you actually get given Capunawa because the game is intended to make you have to use Capunawa for the section.
Но смена маски
That's
на
why it gives you Capunawa.
замедляющее время
Keep an Ika,
требует у нас
even though I got the
переключения
checkpoint with Ika.
капов каждую секунду, а также тратить время на то, чтобы умереть, потому что иначе подниматься на этих шестеренках будет дольше.
Let's see how the rest of the two levels go.
I quite like nitro processing. It's actually a really fun level, and yeah, coming to the next level,
Как отмечает один из кастеров,
probably everybody's most hated level and very
это один из самых нелюбимых уровней в целом, и как у игроков, так и раннеров, потому что он очень зависит от циклов,
in the final hub that doesn't use any of the quantum mass. So this is just pure platforming that Crash is going to be doing here. And when you're playing this level on PB pace, it can get very, very terrifying. Because there's just a lot of things that could kill you here.
Not to mention also
А
the
также
split-second base
множество лайнеров называют его
in, like, very
не
fast-
как
very
токсик,
fast-paced game.
Exactly.
как там его
There's
правильно
also,
название
like,
это?
weird things when it comes to these 2D
Toxic
platforms.
Caves, по-моему, или что такое. В общем, они называют его
Where
Toxic
if
Minecraft.
if you have a mask and get hit, after
В принципе, если вы ставите Toxic Minecraft в одном предложении, вы говорите два раза Toxic.
Reset for some odd reason. Obviously, we didn't really see that in this
И
one,
да,
but,
если вы понимаете, здесь у
yeah, the
вас
cycles just reset.
иногда появляются большие проблемы с
So it
циклами.
can really catch you off guard if it happens.
Yeah, I did that climb so fast that I wasn't prepared for the electric to be on the left side. It happens.
So this level in a speedrunning fashion, this level requires a lot of advanced movement to be known, like coyote time and the momentum that you have in the air. There was a little electric rod that you were able to stand on in other versions, but I believe that got patched at some point.
Потихоньку приближаемся к Кортексу.
This version actually on the PC.
But yeah, other than that, it's just very tip-top platforming. There's not much in this portion. You can kind of.
Там остается всего лишь $3005 до
Alrighty, then
Hitman
here's
3.
a $5 donation from fellow host Frozen Flygon saying
Удар Мужик
bonus
3,
game,
так
shout out
сказать.
to everyone helping make this event possible. Less than 3. Love all the hearts. And here's a $470 donation from Vacuum saying, always up for more bonus games at GDQ. Here's to Hitman 3. We are
И
currently
потекли деньги на Хитмана.
Oh, it just updated. We are $2,500 away from reaching Hitman 3. Chat, we are so close. Keep it up.
Yeah, about 2 more donations.
2 more donations, and then let's get another $100 from Purple Spyro fan saying, wanted to get another dono in to celebrate this comfy run and help out the Hitman incentive. And here
И,
is a
собственно,
$50
замок
donation
Кортекса,
from Kernunos, who says, I could spend an hour in just one Hitman level setting up a kill.
который
I
еще
really want
нужно
to see what
пробежать.
kind of setups they use to complete all three games in under
Но
an
это
hour.
последний уровень перед
Thank you for the
финальным
$50.
боссом.
Alright, so now this is the last level before the final boss, Cortex Castle.
Best dialogue in all of the game, by the way.
Shoutouts to the triangular fossa.
So a little cool skip that Jordy just did, and now he switches to 30 to go really fast with the time warp, I believe. What is the official name for it? I don't know if we mentioned that before. We mentioned the tech, but not the name.
Yeah, it's time warp, I guess is what we're calling it, yeah.
Yeah. So now you can see him like skip through like he did in the previous levels, and this like even without doing
По
all of this,
сути,
it's
это
very notoriously
один из самых сложных с точки зрения платформинга уровень, который тоже, опять-таки, использует все 4 маски. И с точки зрения спидрана здесь особо не уменьшит количество использования этих масок.
It's like the perfect last level, basically.
Yeah, there's some aspects of it where it's like it's kind of broken. Like the very first time you grab Kapunua, where you do the very cool little tech slide jump. Sometimes the platforms just carry you off the map, like through the whole collision and wall directly, and just has you falling infinitely without even having a chance to restart. So the only thing you kind of have to do at that point is to restart the whole level in that regard. So yeah, I don't know if this was mentioned already, but this level is notoriously hard because it prioritizes all 4 masks simultaneously, like back to back, as you're seeing.
Но, скажем так, исполнение
I think my first time with
на
this,
крайне высоком уровне.
was around 35 or 40 deaths on stream. And,
Не стоит забывать,
just
что
the way-
периодически
the
Warhauser для непроцента.
technicality and difficulty that you really got. You just gotta put in your mind the fact that you're using 4 masks in
И
a row back to back.
последний
It just makes for a
уровень.
very, very nice final gone.
Там, где
of the game,
Cortex
pretty much.
That last section was really clean,
поймал
by the
все
way. I just wanted to
маски.
point that out. So he kept the mask, a regular Aku mask, by the way, just for that last section. It saves about 15
И нам
seconds
необходимо
skipping through those lasers instead of waiting for the
в очередной раз напинать ему.
Really, really well done by Jordy there.
Yeah, some lasers are essentially like they're insta-kill when they're off bounds, but like when they're inbounds on your way, they're not really insta-kill. So just a little point I wanted to put in.
All right.
So,
This is the actual last boss fight. Finally, we've had 3 last boss fights, but this is the actual last boss fight.
And as we're doing this,
Собственно, во время боя сам Cortex использует поочередно разные маски.
Let's get the incentive for Hitman 3. We're almost there.
Там на ТПС на R34 самое то.
All right.
Ну, R34, к сожалению, нельзя на Твиче, так что у нее есть проблемы.
I really, really like this last boss because it has a good callback to for Twok, where basically this fight.
На самом деле самое сложное начнется с маской Ика-Ика. Вы обычно не привыкаете к такому, когда вам берут и меняют камеру целиком.
I missed the real Crash 4.
go to Japan.
Yeah, we can go to Japan and get Crash 4, and even get a Crash 5.
True. Oh yeah, speaking of disorienting, the whole screen flips over in the Ika portion when the mask is used against you, so it's quite literally the same gameplay. It's just, you know, a bit disorienting the first time when you're not so used to the mask, but yeah.
We're missing 1k for the Hitman run. We're like a bit under 1k. Let's go. It's right after this run. Come on, guys. We got
almost
another,
there, guys.
We got another like
И
minute.
мы уже очень-очень близки к
So right here
победе.
is the run killer jump right here. Let's see if Jordy gets it. He got it. All right.
He did. That's really good.
Very nice. Yeah, that jump saves 10 seconds, and if you miss it, your run is basically dead.
So one little
Немножко мини-буллет хелла, так сказать. Прям совсем уж мини.
Yeah, time is going to be on the last lap, and we'll call it out.
Yeah, so one thing I'd like to point out is that
И
you can also
время.
body slam these yellow platforms to basically just kill them in one hit rather than jumping on them 2 times.
Ну, кстати, не настолько хуже.
Really good job, Jordy. You killed it absolutely.
Я ожидал, что будет где-то 20 минут.
Really, really great showcase.
А, мы тем временем набрали на Хитмана.
Loved the speedrun of this game, and I couldn't ask for another person like to do it like better than Jordy could.
Yeah, this was amazing. I wanna do a quick shout outs to the whole Crash community for being as supportive, the HD Crash community for being as supportive as it is. We're really just a bunch of guys wanting to push the HD Crash games as far as we can. And if you want to join that Discord, it's on speedrun.com.
1.0 rejected.
Welcome for new people. All of the 5 games in that Discord.
Через сколько Hitman? Ну, сетап обычно занимает около минут 5-7, в зависимости от того, как повезет. Ну да, скорее 10 минут.
If you want to check out more of Jordy, he's on YouTube on Jordy925, I think, and on Twitch for it's Jordy925.
Наконец-то мы увидели Коко.
Yeah, that is his channel.
Хотя бы раз за игру.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone who watched and donated, and the community as well. Everyone's very kind, supportive, and all that stuff. So, yeah, lovely people I've met in the last 4 years or so.
Да, и это был
Yeah, thank you.
Crash
Thanks for having me
Bandicoot.
on.